Good evening and welcome to Access Iowa City, a program about the independent living and disability movements in Southeast Iowa. So Access to Iowa City is brought to you by a generous contribution from the Noon Pilots Club of Johnson County and collaborations between the Extended REM Foundation, Access to Independence, and the Centers for Disabilities and Development, as well as assistance from all the hardworking folks here at Public Access Television Channel 18. I'm Terry Cunningham, President of the Board of Directors of Access to Independence, Vice Chair of the Johnson County Mental Health and Disability Services Planning Council, and an individual who's lived with a significant disability for over 41 years. Tonight we're thrilled to have some of the participants and mentors in the Host Home program that's operated by REM. We have Chris and Aaron, who are participants, and we have Ashley, Suzanne, and Lori, who are either currently hosting or have recently hosted folks in that program. And as always with us, my co-host, Keith Ruff.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay. Guess to start with Chris and Aaron, what is it that made you want to try doing the Host Home program?
Well, I have thought about it ever since, and then I got to meet with my mentor and got to see where he lives. I'm like, I want to try this, something new.
How'd you hear about it?
I heard about it through, like, I went to the office and they told me about the host. Well, somebody asked me, do you know what Host Home is? I'm like, no. Do you want to try it? Yes, I do. And it's been great ever since.
Good. How about you, Chris? What made you want to try it?
I've been a Mike Sticker about two months.
Okay. How'd you hear about the program?
I've been living actually in town about last year. This year. Yes.
Okay, but before you moved and were living with them, where were you at?
Steve. Go home.
Okay. And so then somebody talked to you about the new program and you decided you'd like to try it too?
Yeah.
Okay. How's it been so far? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
What do you enjoy best about it?
Spend time with Ashley.
Okay. What kind of things do you get to do now that you couldn't do where you were living before?
I've been with Tim like a couple weeks.
Okay.
And this question is for any of the hosts. How do you feel about hosting these consumers in your home? Anyone can answer.
How do I feel about it?
Yes.
I love it. I think it's a great experience for all three of us, my husband, myself, and Chris. We all three grow with each other. We learn new things about each other and ourselves, and we get to do fun things that we never got to do before, meet new people.
And how did you find out about the program and what kind of made you decide you wanted to at least check it out?
Chris's case manager sent us the information when he found out about it, and we looked it over and thought that it would be nice to have Chris live with us. We already did activities with him outside of his group home, so we just decided it would be a good fit.
What are some of the major requirements of the hose?
You have to have a stable home.
Okay.
You can live in a home or an apartment as long as it's safe. You have to have a bedroom for the individual. If you have pets, you have to get them neutered and shots. And make sure that you get along with the individual that you are going to have in your home.
Okay. So unlike a lot of other programs, there's not necessarily any educational or experience requirements. It's more, if you're interested, if you go through the process and things work out, that it's a go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably beneficial if you have experience around individually. Yeah.
Usually.
And there's the basics like CPR and
Yeah.
things like that
Okay.
to cover you safety-wise. So,
What made you two interested in it?
I became interested in the program when I first read about it. I actually have a son who is disabled, and he had been in the group home system, which was beneficial to him for several years, and then he moved back home with us. And when I read the article, I just felt like it was awesome to have another option for those that are disabled. There are some opportunities out there, but this host home situation sounded so unique and so different. I think that's what really perked my interest. And we had an extra bedroom in the basement, and I just felt like it was really a great way for us to be able to give someone some opportunities that maybe they didn't have available to them. And I knew that we would definitely benefit from them coming into our home also. I knew it would be a win-win. So I really liked the idea of another option for the individuals.
I grew up with a sister who has cerebral palsy, and I've been around people with disabilities my whole life. And an ex-coworker of mine had went to apply for this job and had her first interview. She called me and asked me if she could use me as a reference for this position. And I said, the more I talked to her on the phone, I thought, well, you need to tell me a little bit more about this program, because it really piqued my interest. So I found out about it, had my first interview, and thought, oh my gosh, this is something I really, really want to pursue. And I wanted to do something more than just volunteering my time. And I'm like Suzanne and Ashley, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a really cool, unique type of program. And so I wanted to be in on the ground level and help it grow. So.
And Aaron, what are the things that you like best about the program and living with the family?
What I like about it is I have a family type environment, and I also like that the people necessarily are there for me, and in good times and bad, where before I didn't have that. Actually, before I was in the group home in Corville with 7 other roommates, and
That's a lot.
I didn't like that.
Unless you live in a family of 8, which I did.
Yeah.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you couldn't do when you were in a group home?
Like what we're doing Saturdays is grilling.
Ooh, you get a grill too? I don't get grills at my place. I miss that.
We're fishing.
The fishing, yeah.
We used to have bonfires.
People don't have bonfires anyway. It's interesting that you say that. I mean, growing up, I can remember having a bonfire was a big deal. You roast marshmallows and hot dogs at them too. Ooh, it's nice to know that somebody is carrying on that tradition. That's fun to do.
Yep, and we also have what's called our cheat days.
What days?
Cheat days.
Cheat days.
Where we have like one day, like last week we had lasagna.
Oh, okay. So you're on a diet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to cheat.
Okay. Everybody who's not, please raise their hands. Keith isn't, but.
And how do you occupy yourself during the day?
During the, I work 2 times a week, 2 days, Wednesday and Friday for 4 hours at Corville Goodwill.
Okay. What do you do?
I do a sorted job. Let's see, I hang, sort, categorize, and I do donations.
Cool. So you're one of the donated goods people. I used to run those programs at the Goodwill in Des Moines, so I'm familiar with all that fun stuff and all the things you come across. So you like that job?
Oh yeah.
What do you,
I've been there for. I've started in August. I was over there for a month. I've been there almost a year.
ooh. So are you looking at working your way up to another job, or is this the one you want to keep? Or?
This is the one I want to keep.
Okay. So what do you do during the day, Chris?
I go RES. Get bored. Hang out. And so my ride. Pick me up.
Okay.
As a host, would you recommend this to many families?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And what is the best part of being a host?
I would, for myself, it's just providing opportunities for an individual who may not have those kind of opportunities to, I don't know, just even simply going on day trips or, taking them someplace where they've never been before, just being able to give them those opportunities.
What kind of reactions, if any, do friends or other family members have, or did they have when you mentioned that you were considering this?
Well, they were all for it. They were a tad bit concerned, because you are bringing a
Sure.
perfect stranger into your home, and you're a perfect stranger to them. So that in itself causes a whole different kind of aspect. But it was all very positive, really, and I think mainly because my background was with having a sister with a disability, that made a big difference in my family. I come from a family of 9 kids, so there was a lot of input. And I have 3 children too, and grandchildren. So and I asked them individually how they felt about this, and they were all very positive about it. So.
Because it does affect everybody.
Yes, it certainly does.
How much interaction do you have with someone before they actually come and live with you? Is there
Well, we had several visits.
a day process? Do they, are there weekends to start, or
Well,
how?
at first it was just more like having dinner, and then overnight, and just short little visits. And I mean, I guess it could probably be as long as you wanted it to be, or as short as you really wanted it to be honest with you, because as long as you were clicking and feeling comfortable with that person, then you just went on from there to the next, to the next visit, and you kind of took it that way, whether they wanted to have a visit with you or you wanted to have another visit with them.
Sure.
About how fast is the comfort level How fast does it progress? Would you say?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
I would think that'd be pretty individual.
Yeah,
I know
yeah. It's kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. I don't know. It's kind of hard to answer that question in a way.
Okay.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable where you're at now, Aaron?
How long did it take me? It took me about a month to be comfortable.
Okay. Sounds reasonable. How did you feel after the program was first explained, and you know that you would meet somebody and get to know each other and see, you know, if you like the same things, and that you would actually go and live at somebody else's house? How long did it take you to get comfortable just with that idea?
It took me about, like, when I heard about it, it took me at least 3 months to be understand what I meant. I heard.
Okay.
Then after that, I got comfortable with it.
Okay. How about you, Chris? How long did it take you to feel comfortable with Ashley? If you are yet.
Yep.
Chris's and my situation are a little different because I was his coordinator with REM before this was introduced with us, so we already had a pretty good relationship.
Ooh. That was nice.
Yeah. Ashley, as a host, what would you recommend to future people who want to be a host? What is the #1 item that they need to know?
Understanding the disability. That would be my #1.
Okay.
Yeah, my #1 requirement would be that your heart be in it. I think when I first read the article, and I think people just know, I know when I first read the article, I just knew it was something for us, and your heart needs to be in it. And then you go on and you discover all the nuts and bolts of it, and you just kind of keep plugging along to find out if it's going to be something that you're able to do and want to do.
I think I agree with both ladies. Also, you need to know that somebody else is coming into your home, and you need to be patient until they learn the ins and outs of your home and they get comfortable.
And they make it their home, too.
Yeah.
Right along with you.
And that was when Monica came to the Johnson County MHDS Planning Council last fall and did the presentation. I immediately thought that this is one of the most unique and cool sounding programs I had ever heard of.
Yeah.
And then I talked to her, and I talked to the folks on the Homestead Consumer Task Force, and she came and gave a presentation in January, I think it was. And folks found that interesting, and you know, we had told her then that we wanted her back in 6 or 7 months when the program was actually up and going, and we had talked about, you know, having folks on the program to let other people know. And I just think it's the most intriguing and potentially most beneficial program I've heard of in many years. So we certainly want to do everything we can to get the word out, because I think it just is such a cool thing. I guess, how long did it take you guys to be comfortable with even the you know, I know you read an article and you see that and oh yeah, that sounds cool and that sounds interesting,
You get a little caught up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
at first.
Were the other family members who get involved in this as enthusiastic from day one as you were, or did it take some convincing and conversations and actually meeting folks before they were willing to jump in? Because as you said, this is asking quite a lot of somebody to bring an adult into their family. Explain a little that whole process.
You guys go ahead on that one, because you have spouses, so.
My husband was on board right away. So we went to talk to Monica, and it took us a couple months to mull it over. We got the application. We wanted to make sure that this was the right fit for both my husband and I and Chris, because we plan on having kids, and we didn't know if everybody would be comfortable with that after we had kids, and we didn't want to have Chris with us and then have him move out because it wasn't the right thing when we had kids. So it took us a couple months to make sure that we were comfortable, and so then that's when we started the process.
I went to my husband, and he was on board right away, and we talked to Monica, and I think that we were excited and on board right away. However, I think it really is a process of gathering the information and taking the time to really go through whether or not this is for your family. I have my older son, who is an adult, and then we have a 9-year-old little boy, and then my husband. So we had several conversations around the dinner table and just talked about what it might be like to have someone join our family. My older son was excited about it. He thought that would be great to have a peer in the house. The bedroom is right across the hallway from his. So the two will be almost roommates, spending a lot of time together. My 9-year-old was very excited. He knows a lot of his older brother's friends, and he had this little kid idea that he might be able to just go pick out one of them and just have them come live with us, and had to explain that's not quite how it works. And then going through the process of the training, I think, really helps. It's very extensive, it's very lengthy, and I think that really just made us comfortable all along the way. You really had a lot of time to really soak it all in and decide whether or not this is going to work. So the process is definitely set up so that you can find the perfect match. And that's what really drew me to the program at first, was just knowing that that was the key, because I felt like that would be the key.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So about how long did that whole process take, from the time you first thought about it till the family molded over and decided yes, to when you said, yeah, we want to try it, and met and went through all of the
for us,
for that?
I read the article last fall, and it took me a week to place the phone call to inquire. I got some information. I knew nothing about the program, so placing that phone call was easy. I got the information, and I would say it probably took about a month to meet with Monica and just get the initial information. After that, I would say it probably took about 3 months to kind of get the ball rolling as far as the training, and that took several months. And so then I would say probably about 5 or 6 months for us to get all the way through the training and really be in a place where we were ready to take on an individual and find out if there was a match. We are actually in the process right now of finding that match, and we will start our potential meetings with an individual very shortly here. So it started last fall, and so it's taken several 6 or 7 months.
Okay. So there's adequate time. There's no feeling of being rushed to do this or rush into it.
Quite the contrary, really. And it's done that way intentionally.
It's probably good, yes.
So everybody can feel very comfortable about their decisions, because every step creates new questions that you have to address. So
I think it's a great idea. only for younger children to grow up learning that disability isn't that much of a difference.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If one of your friends asks you about the host home program and how it worked, and if you liked it and would recommend they try it out, Aaron, what would you say to them?
I would say the host home is like another home. Basically, you can move in with the family. You have the choice to move in with the family, move in with just one other person, or I would tell them, you got choices out there, can you make them? And I would tell them, it's great, the host home, great, the greatest decision I've ever made in my life.
Very good. How about you, Chris? Would you tell your friends that they should try it if they get a chance?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end of our time. Anything else that any of the 5 of you have to say that you'd like to share that we haven't covered yet?
Or what would you recommend that isn't already part of the program?
I got nothing.
No. We've covered everything.
Yep.
How about you, Chris?
Nothing.
Nothing. We're doing better today than I thought.
There we
And I
go.
hope you 3 have something, or we got extra time left.
I think
Not a lot, but
that all families should consider just looking into it. It's just because you ask for information doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's good to get information. Maybe somebody in your family wants to do it if you don't. So it's good to get the word out.
Yes, it is.
I think one of the things I'm looking forward to also is our neighborhood and just the effects that it will have on people who are just living their everyday life and aren't necessarily exposed to those who have challenges. And so I'm really looking forward to them being curious about our family and what we're doing and learning from the individual and learning from us.
Yeah, a lot of it too. It's just exposing the rest of our family to the opening up the possibilities.
very cool. Well, we've come to the end of our time tonight, and we certainly want to thank you all.
Thank you.
As we've said, we think this is an incredibly interesting and positive program, and I hope it does well. And maybe we'll make this an annual thing of having folks come and share what's been going on.
That'd be fabulous.
I would like that.
Until next week. Thank you.
Have a good week. Stay cool.